Welcome everyone to this section. Is 10 steps journey to the Salesforce architect, and speaker is Prashant. And I'll let him do his introduction. And thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Pearl. Let me quickly share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Oh, Pearl, you may have to go on mute because I'm getting a bit of a
Sure.
background noise. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I know this is probably the last slot of Pakistan Dreaming, so great for all of you to have stuck it till the end. And I've heard a few of the sessions. Seems to be fantastic. So again, congratulations to the Pakistan Dreaming team, and really, really happy to be here. So this presentation is about a 10-step journey to a solution architect. Uh, my name is Prashant Ambishan. My uh, contact details are provided here. Uh, Quick introduction about myself. I'm a senior principal in the global Salesforce team at Slalom, based out of Canada. I've spent a lot of time in the Salesforce ecosystem, and I've got some prior experience in management consulting, sales, and finance. I hold, I think, 19 certifications of both B2B and B2C solution architect. Co-founded a website called Salesforce Couple. And apart from Salesforce, I love creating, solving puzzles. I like playing chess and table tennis. That's a bit about myself. Now let's get to the presentation. So before I start about the actual 10-step journey to a Salesforce solution architect, I want to set the context here on why we are having this presentation. What is really the need, right? So Salesforce has acquired a number of companies and added a number of new product offerings to support enterprise level scenarios over the last few years. So many things on the B2B, B2C space. We've seen acquisitions around MuleSoft and Slack, and we've seen products like OMS and all coming to the fore. And then, of course, things like C360 and CDP and all really rising. So as you can see, Salesforce, which probably 10, 15 years ago was more considered a CRM, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, portals, not even communities. Now it's really at an enterprise level player. Right? So what that means is you need to start thinking at a bigger level. So different pieces of these, uh, what I call these products, which are these different pieces, combined to complete that jigsaw puzzle, which is your end-to-end business process. So what that means is your Salesforce is not operating in one part of what a company is trying to do, but across that entire board. And your Salesforce solution architect role and the career path has evolved out of this, because you need skill sets which can start speaking to the bigger picture. We can start connecting all these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle and talk to business stakeholders, talk to technology leaders, and really give a perspective, give guidance, and be a leader in that front who can think across the board. So with that entire context of where we are today, over the last few years, we've seen the B2C solution architect, B2B solution architect roles defined. This session, which put together, is more about how does one become a Salesforce solution architect. So really, this is the context. And from an agenda perspective, since we're talking about a 10-step journey, it's a very simple agenda. We'll define the end goal, that is where we want to reach at that end of that 10-step journey. We'll pick a starting point. So this is where we are today, and we want to get to that end goal. And then, of course, we will walk the 10-step journey. Very simple agenda. Okay? We'll start with the end goal in mind. The end goal, of course, is to become a Salesforce solution architect. So we'll start with what is a Salesforce solution architect. We've heard this in numerous terms. You've got different types of architects in the Salesforce ecosystem. What is a solution architect? Now, the key of a solution architect is to be able to understand, interpret, and give guidance on multi-cloud solutions. You're talking about how different clouds speak to each other, scenarios where they interact with each other, and also give a domain, process, and functional expertise, which is for scale and sustainability. Now, what that means is you're not solving for how do I implement my sales process in Sales Cloud. You're not talking about how do I um, best automate my case routing. No, we are talking about an end-to-end process, right? If I have a sales customer who's trying to log in through my commerce website and is having trouble, how do I, as a service rep, go to Service Cloud, log in on behalf of the customer, place an order, which then goes to my order management system? Multi-cloud solution the scenario which encompasses and cuts across all these different clouds, but it is what the reality is. And the fact that Salesforce now plays in all these areas, a Salesforce solution architect must now understand all these areas and how they work together. From Salesforce's perspective, how that role has been defined has been primarily built around three pillars of leadership. One is technical leadership, then business leadership, and delivery leadership. And again, I took the liberty of literally copy pasting from the collateral which is provided by Salesforce on this, because I think that really speaks to what they're looking for and how the role is defined. Technical leadership is around selecting the proper multi-cloud product features which best align with the company's vision and business value goals. Again, the key words here, right? You're talking about leadership. You're not someone who's saying, how do I implement this? But also someone who can give guidance on what should be implemented. What is the choice? What are the recommendations? What are the pros and cons? And be able to really set the path on what should be done. And again, you're aligning with the company's vision and business value goals. So you are, as a technical leader, you're solving for the business value goals. So you see that broad connect which a solution architect brings. You are really drawing the line from all these multi-cloud solutions all the way to the company's vision. Next is you're giving business leadership by guiding companies on a multi-cloud solution journey by differentiating customer experiences. Now, these multi-cloud journeys, like the simple example I talked about earlier, the customer has various touch points with a company. And so it may be when you're selling direct to the consumer, or you're in a B2B scenario, you have different integration points or interaction points, where your end customer would interact with the company. And this could happen at various facets, various points across different technical platforms. And how do you really differentiate yourself, create that unique brand experience? How do you provide that unique proposition from a business perspective and give thought leadership on how that should be implemented, right? When we talk about things like omni-channel, when we talk about segmenting through CDP, you're talking about leveraging business leadership skill here. And last, definitely not the least, is delivery leadership. When you're talking about multi-cloud solutions, these are not just simple jigsaw puzzles which will seamlessly fit. You do need to do some chiseling of the edges. You do need to make sure they're aligned correctly. You have some connectors in place which are available. Some cases you need to do some amount of customizations. There are some prerequisites which you need to think about. There are considerations definitely on the data front which you need to give leadership on. So overall, right, to be able to give a delivery leadership on how this can be implemented based on use case delivery, and again spans the customer's 360 vision and platform. So three different pillars of leadership. Again, leadership is a very key word here for a solution architect. Is you're not a person who's just taking inputs and processing them. You are giving thought leadership. You're actually driving decisions. You're providing a perspective which is going to be the direction in which the particular project or rather program would be following. So this is your end goal. This is what a Salesforce solution architect is. It's a mouthful in that sense. There is a lot to do. There is a lot to achieve, and it's of course a mountain to climb, as Salesforce describes a lot of its architect journeys. So with that, I also want to give maybe lend a little more, what I would say, practical facet to this. Let's talk through a B2C scenario, right? So when you have a service cloud, you have a commerce cloud and marketing cloud, and they're all talking to each other, and you have customer 360 in the middle. So let's say as a customer, you log into your B2C commerce portal. So let's say you log into one of the websites where you want to say buy a gift. You put something in the cart and you're not sure. Okay, I'm not sure whether I want to buy it. Let's leave it in the cart. Now, and you walk away. Now, as a customer, or sorry, as a company which is providing this, right, you have a customer who's put something in the cart, not really made the purchase. So you have some instance of a cart which has been abandoned, what they call an abandoned cart in commerce lingo. You can use that to trigger email sends which are set up in Marketing Cloud. So basically put that through a marketing journey where you send a mail in say 4 hours or 2 hours based on whatever it makes sense for you to the customer saying, hey, I saw that you got something on your cart. Are you sure you want to make a purchase? Do you want some help? You could even trigger something to a Service Cloud agent if the person has not done anything for a day. and have someone actually give a call and saying, hey, I saw something on the card. Do you need help with making your purchase decision? Maybe you can even give some discounts, right? And then help drive that customer to close that purchase as quickly as possible and potentially even have more upsell opportunities. They may end up buying more things, right? Now, it looks like a very simple business use case, which you would have experienced in many of the websites. But when you're talking about the Salesforce platform, you've jumped from B2C commerce to marketing cloud to service cloud, back and forth. And you also want a unique view of that particular customer, because the customer may have done a guest checkout but have actually has a login. So how do you make sure you are reconciling all these factors and giving all the information to the service rep as well, that they know that, okay, this person purchased something earlier and they may be interested in a complementary product. All these features come together and work to help make the business successful. Now, as a solution architect, it is important to understand how these products work in all these business scenarios, how they work together as part of that jigsaw puzzle I outlined, and how do you really talk through that, implementing that, building the solution out, and lead it through your technical, business, and delivery leadership perspective. So this is all about being a solution architect. I know I spent a little more time than I planned on this, but really the end goal is very important to define when we're talking about a journey. But now let's get to the starting point. We'll get to where we talk to, but let's pick a starting point, and I'm going to pick a persona. And we'll say the persona has about 2.5 years of Salesforce experience, someone fairly new in the Salesforce ecosystem, has a good sales and sales cloud and platform foundational knowledge. So great, the person's picked up a few things. Has got a mix of admin and Apex development experience. So has done some coding, good with a lot of the out-of-the-box features. Already picked up the admin and PD1 certifications, preparing for Sales Cloud Consultant because feels that experience is good and probably now can write that certification. With all this particular person has heard about the Salesforce Solution Architect role and would like to become a Salesforce Solution Architect someday. So this is our starting point, right? This is a typical person who's just started off Salesforce professional in their journey. They're really enthusiastic. They love the platform. They're picking on learning new things. And we want to now draw the line from this starting point to what we defined a little earlier, a solution architect. So for that, let us walk through that 10-step journey and how this person can become a Salesforce solution architect. Long preamble, but let's talk about how that road looks like. So in any Salesforce learning journey, I would say there are two facets which are important. One is experience and one is knowledge. And there's a reason I call those out as separate things. As you work, especially early on in your career, you may not have a lot of choices on which projects you work on, which clouds you're actually doing projects on, what sort of role you're doing. But you will probably start getting more and more experience in that area. But at the same time, you can also by yourself learn other things. You've got Trailhead, you've got all these communities, you've got so many blogs and videos and training material. Even if you don't have the particular project experience, you can still gain knowledge on something. So the two parts of the road or the journey is based on experience and knowledge. Experience is based on the work you do on Salesforce projects. It could even be through volunteer activities, but this is a real life experience where you're actually solving for a business problem. You're working on a project. Vis-a-vis, you're also doing something based on self-learning activities. Now, both of these are important. And through this journey, the 10-step journey, we will take one step on experience front, one step on knowledge. Like that, we'll keep going. So we have 5 on each at the end of the day, right? And we'll talk through how to do that. So in the first 2 steps of becoming a Salesforce solution architect, and again, going back to experience and knowledge, I would say initially in your experience front, build on the experience on the current focus area. Right? For example, we talked about the person who's got experience in Sales Cloud and platform. Build on that. Understand the project which you worked on in its entirety. Make sure you know it end to end. You probably are playing a specific role working on a particular module. You may definitely not have worked on all the user stories. There may be multiple Scrum teams, but try to understand what everyone's doing, the end-to-end picture. And also try to see how users are actually using the product. So if you've done a Sales Cloud implementation, see if it's possible, talk to sales reps and see how they're using it and get some feedback. If nothing, talk to testers who are probably the closest there, functional testers, and see how they're actually doing the testing. Now, this piece is important because right now what you're doing is really setting a core foundation, a solid foundation in Salesforce, whichever area it is. It could be Sales Cloud, it could be platform, it could be Marketing Cloud, it could be on the commerce front, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are in, obviously in the beginning you may not have a lot of choices. Make sure you invest time in understanding it properly. Don't try to learn 10 different clouds at the same time at the beginning. There is a vast ocean out there to learn. Sort of take it bucket by bucket and really delve into that. So focus on that area. In parallel, start building knowledge. Right. So if you've done Sales Cloud, any project, anyone who's worked on Sales Cloud projects would know that you're not going to use all the features of Sales Cloud. Now, you may not have used it on the forecasting side. You may not have done lead conversion. You may not have done opportunity splits. Right. But you can still learn about it. Right? So when you're doing that, and this is where some of the certifications come in, right? If you're learning for Sales Cloud Consultant, you'll sort of be, in a sense, forced to learn that to prepare for the certification, but essentially use that as a way to make sure you understand the product in its entirety and not just be limited by the experience you have, which the project offers you. And by yourself, you can build scenarios which are not covered in these projects. Of course, in some cases you have super badges, in some cases you can do some mini projects, but try to keep yourself up to date. Do these different scenarios on things you have not worked on, and also keep up with the release notes, because the platform is evolving very rapidly. The new features coming in very quickly, right? But here, what we're trying to do, the first two steps to really get to that end goal is get your foundation right. Right? Build a core expertise around what you're doing, understanding of how the Salesforce particular product works, and really build a full basis of what you know, what you can really grow. And again, here you're focusing on specific business use cases which are around a specific product. It could be Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, whichever it is. So this is, you started your journey, and make sure you get that foundation right. One important thing, and I'll keep highlighting through the journey, I say talk to end users, because as you remember, a solution architect is not a pure technical play. You have to understand business, right? You're trying to map your solution to a actual business use case. So make sure you're talking to end users. So we've gone through the first two steps. Now let's see, how do we build on that? How do we go to the next two steps? Now, the next thing I would say is to try to gain experience on a cloud which is closest related to it. Right? So if you have Service Cloud and Marketing Cloud, or you have Service Cloud and B2C, if you have Sales Cloud and say you're working on Revenue Cloud, right? So some of those which are related to each other, where you have sort of cross-team dependencies, if you can get experience on that, if you can sort of work with your managers on, or build your career path a little bit aligned to something which sort of extends that. And the reason is, you can start understanding these cross-team dependencies. So if you work with marketing and sales, say for example, you may start now understanding how when you have a customer journey built in Marketing Cloud, and how you do lead scoring, and how that is then pushed to Sales Cloud, and how the lead conversion happens, and then the sales team picks it up and builds an account and generates opportunities out of that. You are really looking at a little broader business scenario, which is spanning two clouds at least, and they are sort of related to each other. So try to build sort of an experience which will start connecting that. Of course, you may or may not, but try to drive that, and try to meet business users across use cases. Right? So if you have a marketing rep who's actually hands over lead to a sales rep, you talk to both of them, right? And try to understand those transition points, and try to understand how Salesforce helps solve for that. Now, here you're starting to basically add one more piece to your jigsaw puzzle in your experience perspective. And then balance that, of course, balance that with knowledge on how these two clouds work together. Start picking up on basics of integration. You don't need to be an API expert to be a solution architect, but you should know what are some of the basic foundational principles around how data can be shared, right? So you need to understand some basics of integration. This is a great point, because now you may be able to apply them to some of the scenarios which we are looking at. Also, potentially even some of the connectors between the different clouds. From a certification perspective, you can potentially pick up the certifications related to the new cloud you've worked on. So you're now getting sort of a cross-cloud understanding. So here you're gaining expertise in a related cloud, understanding basics of how two products, Salesforce products work together from a process, technology, and business view. Let me reiterate, right? Process meaning when you're deploying solutions, right? You may have some dependencies. When you're building sort of a business process map, you may have how it gets handed over. From a technology side, how do the two work together? Which product offers which solutions? And of course, from a business view, which is again equally important, is how do business really realize the value when you have two clouds working together? So now you can probably start seeing where this is going, right? The thread is going. You're really starting from one area, you start driving your experience with that. So this is how that person can start moving towards that end goal and start building your growth, either from a career perspective, from a personal perspective. How do you start heading there? All right. So continuing onwards, the next two steps, the fifth and sixth step, they are around working on Salesforce products which augment and support some core business processes. You have things like MuleSoft, Heroku, or say Tableau CRM, right? They may not be core Salesforce products, and probably not even in some cases not even like a cloud, but they cut across different clouds. You can have MuleSoft integrations with different clouds and external systems. Heroku can be a layer on top of other systems. Tableau, of course, now we've got analytics across multiple clouds. So some of these are which I sort of refer to them as which augment and supports your core business processes. Understand those products, because these products will start getting applicable as you learn across different projects. They'll start getting repeated more and more. New discussions will come in more often. Tableau will start coming in many of these conversations repeatedly. Right? So you start getting understanding of these and try to gain an end-to-end understanding of at least one or more of those products, so that you're really comfortable in having discussions which involve them. Of course, you may not always get a project which relates to that, but augment that with your knowledge by learning key use cases, which for each of these products, there's incredible documentation again for all of these. Definitely, you should go and learn, and you can get some of these trial licenses and try them out. Understand limitations and best practices. See, now you're starting to think at this point, not just about, okay, how do I implement requirement A, but you're also thinking, I've got a broad level feature I want to implement. I'm looking at least a couple of clouds. I have these other products which augment. What are some best practices? What are some limitations? What should I do when I'm implementing these? You're starting to build that leadership quality there. You may even take some certifications on these areas as well. And you want to map these products to business goals. And again, it is at the end, you're delivering to a company's vision, to business value. Right? So in this point, you're really got to understanding a few more clouds. You've started looking at different more products. You're starting to see how these things align. And you're starting to have perspectives, viewpoints, and give inputs from best practices perspective. So here you'll start seeing how they work together, both by augmenting and extending functionality across business processes. So it's not just sales process or marketing process or the service process. You could have things which cut across. So now you're getting to a point where you don't have any more silos. Your understanding of perspective, even if you work on a single cloud project, you will always have a bigger picture that this exists in a larger ecosystem, right? So we're now sort of getting there. The seventh and eighth step of that 10-step journey, right? So here you want to start gaining broader expertise. Really look at projects which are which are larger projects, which are or multiple projects if possible, in the same business domain. Get more industry expertise, get broader domain expertise. So you've got industry clouds, of course, many of them from Salesforce, like financial, manufacturing, and so on. And you want to understand what are the core business drivers and concepts behind all these. So first of all is really see if you can get experience in larger projects, which will give you that bigger picture. Also, from your own knowledge perspective, and many times projects don't give you the luxury to learn that, but you try to get some business understanding of what drives business, what helps larger businesses be successful, especially from from multi-cloud use cases, right? Learn about Salesforce industry products. You don't need, obviously, you cannot learn everything, but if you worked on, say, 5 projects in retail domain, or if you've worked on 5 projects in non-profit, at least pick up that industry cloud and start seeing how to use that, seeing how that is implemented. It will give you a much more in-depth perspective, because these industry clouds are now geared towards uh, very typical but entrenched use cases in that particular industry, and they're all fundamentally built on core business processes, so it will really help you augment that. So at this point you want to understand how technology supports business, and this is not your simple use case of, okay, I am going to have a particular uh, pick list field which will send an email. If I change this value, it is about how all these clouds come together and support my business as a whole. So definitely now you are seeing the end goal in sight by now, because you would have had a lot of different experience. You could have even picked up some more accreditations or certifications across these areas. You could even be looking at some of those solution architect certifications. But really, you will be able to now get a sense of, yes, this is where I want to be, and I've got a bigger picture. So journey is very close to the end, and the last 2 steps, and you're working on true multi-cloud implementations. You take proactive leadership roles, solve for complex business use cases. 3 very simple statements, but incredibly powerful. You're working on multi-cloud implementations which span across different products from Salesforce, and may even link with many other legacy systems. You're taking proactive leadership roles. From an experience perspective, both words are very important. Proactive, because many times you may not be offered leadership roles. Step up to the game and say, yes, I want to do this, or start lending your insights, sharing your value, right? When people see that value, they will give you leadership roles. So sometimes you may not get it just simply out of how the organization gives you growth, but you yourself should take proactive steps to take leadership roles. A lot of the highest learning comes from some of the most complex or most challenging projects, right? So solve for business, complex business use cases, where you have complexity. You have to really understand it in at that breadth, and be able to take that all that in, and give a real clear picture on how this should be implemented. You may have to give very strong recommendations on, no, we should not do this, or this has to be done first, right? You may really have to step up to the game and talk to different business stakeholders, technical stakeholders, and really drive that. So that's very important from an experience perspective. Of course, if you've reached by this time in your journey, you should have developed the capacity and really the tenacity to take up these roles yourself. And from a knowledge perspective, obviously, this you can never. It's an unending journey, right? You'll keep learning. There'll be more to learn. It just impresses you with the amount of knowledge and things you can keep soaking in, and still find there's so much more. Try to understand end-to-end multi-cloud solutioning from both B2C or B2B, either or both perspective. Wonderful solution kits, and a lot of use cases are there available from Salesforce itself. Tools like Customer 360, CDP, all those are very powerful. You can definitely take certifications which are around the B2C solution architect there. But really, if you've done all this, there you have it. You've become a true Salesforce solution architect. That is really the end of that journey. With that, I want to do a quick recap on that very high note. So just to recap, this journey is a multi-cloud, multi-dimensional journey. When I say multi-cloud, of course, we know multiple products. Multi-dimensional is also important, because you're not just learning technical skills, you're learning business skills, interpersonal skills, leadership skills, you're understanding about how delivery works, all of it. And you're also understanding the big picture while knowing the details, and to be able to get to the right level of details. You cannot always understand and know everything, every detail, every line of code on every project, and still be a solution architect. You may have to abstract yourself, but also have the experience and knowledge to be able to manage and balance that with big picture in mind. You have to understand how the products work together, fundamental. And like I started with, your technical, business, and delivery leadership, all 3. So while you're doing your journey and learning, if you're just corely learning, your core learning has been 80% technical, reassess yourself. keep through that journey, keep looking at yourself, do introspections and self-analysis, and see, am I learning on all these three fronts? Because all three are necessary. Learn from each other, because this journey again is not something which of course you can accomplish yourself, but it's definitely much more enriching, faster, and much more fun when you do it in a collaborative environment. You can learn from others who are also on the same path, get inputs from different perspective, share knowledge, and it'll really help you on that way. And with that, bon voyage for your 10-step journey. Hope whoever is planning to do this has great success and really enjoys it. And with that, I think I'll come to the end of my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening in, and we can open it up for any questions. So let me check if there are questions in Q&A. Wonderful. Only one question. Great. Anish is asking how deep we need to know integration to be a B2C solution architect. As a B2C solution architect, you definitely need to know some level. I mean, just if you see, even from a certification perspective, there is a prerequisite to complete the integration certification. I think you need to know the integration patterns. You need to know what are the different patterns there, what are the different scenarios, how you should use, what are some best practices around those different business scenarios, use cases where you apply which types of integration, right? And you also need to have some level of thought process and understanding of what are the limitations, what are some best practices. With that, also you should have some sense of, if you are approaching an integration requirement, right? If I've got a need to integrate two systems, what should be my thought process to be able to understand the need there in more detail? So be it from a data perspective, from a business flow perspective, and really from a end-to-end process perspective, right? And what do these two technology systems allow from a business, from an integration perspective? So definitely you need to know it. You don't have to write actual API code. I don't know how to write API code, so you can still be able to manage that. How can we hands-on practice Demandware is a question from Anonymous. So yeah, that I think so some of these products from Salesforce, like Demandware, even I think even Marketing Cloud, you may not get access to it like trial licenses or DevOps by default. Only specific partners or specific use cases, or if you're working on a project, you get access to it. So there is definitely a limitation. I have to agree there. You can really go by a lot of documentation just to read through. But at some point in time, I would definitely, if you're working in companies which are Salesforce partners, try to see if you can get some sort of trial logs where you can do some learning. If you're working on a project, fantastic. But definitely see if you can get that. Until then, there is definitely some limitation that you cannot go and actually go hands-on and learn there. Learn from use cases, and if you look at some of the material for just B2C and B2B solution architect, there's a lot of content around how these can be done, how they work with multi-cloud scenarios. Also, let me just make it's not very easy, and in many cases, most of the solution architects would not have worked on all the key clouds, right? Even if they may not have worked on commerce side, or not have worked on marketing side, or might not have worked on some of the other areas, but you still, through that experience and just looking at use cases and doing a lot of self-learning, you will get a sense of what can be done, right? So you'll know how products and promotions and discounts, you know on a B2C commerce site what a PDP is, PLP is, because you would have learned that literature. You would have gone through it just from sort of what I would say sort of secondhand learning from content and documentation which is available. And you may have sort of understood it at a much better level as you grow in experience, what that translates to actual business needs. So unfortunately, there are some limitations there from a pure access perspective to these trial logs. But I think that's not a limitation, especially when you get that experience and when you start learning and reading with just the content which is available, right? You'll start picking these up pretty quickly. So even for someone, say, for example, once you start picking up more knowledge, I got my Marketing Cloud email specialist certification before actually working on such a project, right? So, but when I go through that, you with your business understanding, you will know what these scenarios are. Why are you handling suppression lists? Why are you doing it in particular fashion? What are some of the best practices? So that knowledge does come in when you start to talk to business users, and you are able to relate that to business scenarios, irrespective of the product, and you start seeing the bigger picture. Right. So hope that makes sense. Any other questions? So I think, Pearl, we are out of questions. Can probably wrap up. So you want my help in sharing the
Um,
template? Or are you good?
Actually, there's another question.
Oh,
How we can hands-on practice demandware?
oh yeah. I just answered that, saying that
Okay.
because we don't have in some of these scenarios, right? You don't have access to trial logs. So that is, I guess, I'm assuming that is the context of the session. But yeah, the question. So if that helps.
Okay. Thank you.